All righty, welcome back to the episode of Two Plane Sports. And Oklahoma lands yet another commitment, except it's the 2025 class. Are you kidding me? Oklahoma now has three commits in the 2025 class when, last year at this time, Oklahoma didn't even have one commit in the 2024.
They're
That's
getting ahead of the we can't recruit early summer narrative for next year.
true.
We're trying to load up on it, the summer prior to 2025 recruiting really starts. So that way we don't so we don't have the panic button hit all summer long until we stop hitting it.
True, true. So Oklahoma lands 2025 defensive lineman Kamari Moore out of Lee Summit, Missouri. Definitely sounds like a familiar place if Oklahoma fans have been following recruitment. It seems like that's becoming a hotbed for Oklahoma, a pipeline from Kansas City to Norman, Oklahoma, so you can't complain there. Kamari Moore, he's a three-star according to On3, but a lot of he has not really been rated because he's a 2025 kid, so ratings are very limited because they don't sign for another 18 months at the earliest possible time. So anyway, before we do, be sure to like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and TikTok. Everything's linked in the description below. And remember, every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Central, we go live, talk recruitment, talk football, talk about Brandon in the Space Force, whatever. So be sure to stop by, and we will see you guys on Tuesday. So, as I talked about, Kamari Moore, he's a defensive tackle, nose guard, 6'1", 295 pounds, according to his 247, but I believe he's actually trimmed down just a touch. I think he's a little closer to 280, 285, but he can play. Jose, what do you think? You've been on his huddle. He's young. What do you think?
I'm a big fan, and it's great that we've gotten in so early on this guy's recruitment because we went through his offers. I think outside of Oklahoma, his next biggest offer is Nebraska, who, they might be good under Rule, but that's still to be determined. Oklahoma, I think, is putting themselves in a position for 2025 to be just as good, if not better, than what 2024 looks to be and what 2023 was. It's getting fun. Like, this is kind of what everyone wants. Like you guys said, they're trying to relax people. Don't push that panic button by the time we get into early spring. If we don't get commitments then, you already could be in there with 3, 4, maybe 5 commitments in the 2025 class. Also shows how good they are building those relationships. And like you mentioned, that Lee Summit pipeline is becoming real strong. You added him, and you have the potential to add his teammate in the 2025 class, Isaiah Mosey, who's the son of former Oklahoma or Oklahoma alum Jamar Mosey, and their current head coach. So it all helps. Like, it seems like Oklahoma, as long as Coach Mosey's there, will have solid ground to stand on when it comes to recruiting that high school.
Yeah, I think it's obviously good for Oklahoma. He's another kid that I think is going to be SEC ready by the time he steps foot on a college campus, which seems to be the trend. And luckily for him, if he does commit to Oklahoma, and luckily for Oklahoma, is if he gets to campus in 2026, whatever it would be, he's not going to have to play right away because the dudes from this 2024 class are going to be leading the way, and he can sit and learn from some of these kids and be ready to go. But he's a kid who's going to be really special. I agree with both of you guys on that, just from watching a little bit of his huddle tapes. But like, he's got the size, he's got the speed, he can move for a guy that is as big as he is. And it's a good thing that OU got in on him early, because if the kid can keep playing at a high level, the 6 offers that he currently holds is not going to stand. He's going to have offers from all over the country. So getting in really early, landing a commitment early like this it's good for OU. Now, the thing that's a little scary is, like Brum, you mentioned, there is 18 months before these kids in the 2025 class actually, before it becomes officially official. And I know OU doesn't typically lose out on guys once they commit, just because of the Brent Venables, policy and stuff. But we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen with Colton Bassick, and some other guys. But so hopefully we can hold on to him for 18 months, because it's just a long time to play this game.
Well, and real quick, the other thing that is good and bad for you, like if that defensive line group starts to play well, does Todd Bates get a head coaching position somewhere else? And does that make it so that a guy like Kamari Moore rethinks it and goes to follow Todd Bates if that were to happen? Like definitely some there's still some, I guess, reason to be hesitant and before getting too excited, but like Brandon, you said, like getting in on him early is big time because it wouldn't be surprising if you see him in a top 100 list by the time those 2025 rankings are done.
With Coach Bates, I think he would still have to, even if this line is what we think it's going to be and they start dominating, I think he would have to start at a defensive coordinator level before he gets a head coaching gig. And hopefully, if it gets to that point, internally Oklahoma can promote him to defensive coordinator and kind of demote Roof, if you will, or on title or on paper they can be co-defensive coordinators, but really it's Todd Bates and Ted Roof is kind of just man of the linebackers or whatever. But hopefully, if he gets to that point where he's getting legitimate DC offers, Oklahoma can just promote him.
I know this isn't the topic, and I do want Brum to speak, but Todd Bates to Alabama as the next head coach would not be a crazy thing to see happen in the future.
I think it sounds ridiculous.
He's from the state. I'm pretty sure he played there. Like that, I think that would make sense for him if he actually, continues to improve.
Down the road, I think.
Down the road. Once Nick Saban's done, not like anytime soon.
It's almost as hot of a take as you just had before we started recording.
No, it's not. I think you guys just don't see it yet. But who else? We could talk about it at some other time. But
it's Alabama.
Between now and then,
their pick of the litter. I feel like when it comes down to it.
Yeah. No, I mean, technically, yeah, Todd Bates right now is the co-defensive coordinator, but I feel like he would get more responsibilities as, this defensive line does progress and things like that. But talking about Kamari Moore, we talked about with Jaden Jackson being a part of this 24 class. This is another kid I remember saying, Jaden Jackson is kind of a cornerstone. This is at the time when Jackson in the 24 class, that was the first true nose tackle or defensive tackle that plays, nose guard that Oklahoma's gotten in many cycles. That is a high-end player. I mean, probably the best player that they've had in recent memory is Novella Gallimore. And Gallimore's solid, don't get me wrong, but it maybe not quite to the SEC level. Being a sophomore going into junior year, and I want to correct myself. I think he's closer to 290, so he was over 300. Being 6'1", 290, give or take, as going into your junior year, you still have 2 more years of high school. He very well could be 6'2", 6'3", 315, 320 before he even shows up to Oklahoma. So he has the build that Jaden Jackson has now, just 1 year ahead. And if Oklahoma, I know he's not rated in a bunch of cycle or websites and things like that, but the fact that Oklahoma is willing to take his commitment right now just goes to show you how serious they are about him and how good he actually is, because they wouldn't burn one of those scholarships and take him this early just with the thought of, oh, he's probably going to be a low-end 3-star. This is a guy that they must feel, and they've evaluated that he's a high-end 4-star, 5-star type of player, and he's getting great coaching. Lee Summit High School, it's becoming a pipeline. And also he's got a teammate in Isaiah Mosey, Williams Winery, Caden Green was there. Maybe Caden Green wasn't really with him that much because Green was, in the 23 class. But the fact that this is becoming a pipeline, Oklahoma has identified him as being, a must get for this class. I know some people might not initially react to this like it's huge because he doesn't have the stars next to him, but I think he will have the stars come this
Those
fall.
stars are going to show up. Yeah, just give it some time.
Yeah, so he might not pop off the page right now just because it's no stars, but he seems like he's got a very high ceiling.
Top 100 player, I think, is where he's going to end up in that 2025 class.
Yeah. So I think it's massive. Having another commit already in the 2025 class, It's totally different than the 24. And we've talked about it in previous videos, Jose, but the fact that the staff's been here for now, for well over a year, they're recruiting, they're going, recruitment's 2 to 3 years. In Oklahoma with the 25 class, just when these kids are being identified, they are right there, and they're not trying to, sell them on the idea of instead of Clemson, come to Oklahoma. It is now just Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Oklahoma. And you're finally starting to see this page turn where they are getting 25 commits, just like Georgia was getting 24 commits, last year in early January and February. It is happening. And I'm not saying that Oklahoma is going to have 15 commits by, the spring game of next year, but they're going to obviously have more commits than they did this year.
Again.
Do what?
They better, or else they're going to suck again.
True.
If they don't have 15 recruits by spring game, we suck at recruiting again.
Yeah.
For about 4 months, we'll suck, and then July hits, things change.
Then we don't suck again.
We might be a top 5 class.
Yeah, it's like a same song and dance. But that's all I've got. I think it's a huge commit, big time addition. Obviously, it's does not suck, as you like to say, Brandon. Do you have an individual challenge?
Pretty good. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Kamari Moore? Also, you can talk about our little mid-video debate that we had here with Todd Bates and stuff. We all think Todd Bates is a good coach. I think he has to start at a defensive coordinator level. I don't think he's going to be a head coach, within the next 5 years at least. I think he's got to start at a DC level, bud. Brent Venables was a defensive coordinator for a very long time before getting a head coaching job, and obviously he turned down some jobs. But it's a grind. We'll see. Comment on Kamari Moore and also your Todd Bates thoughts, I guess. Is he the next head coach at Alabama, as Jose said?
2-parter right there. I'm going to throw in a last part. A little debate before the podcast started. Jose claimed that Iowa State is a better football program and better than the Iowa Hawkeyes. And I think Jose has since changed his tune. He's an Iowa State believer, and Brandon and I think Iowa is better. I'd be curious to hear what people have to think.
I'm now a neither believer. I would much rather be a Bison for the North Dakota State squad.
Go Hawks.
My gosh. Go Bison. So, all right. Well, we'll catch you guys next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and catch us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central for a live stream. Thanks.